The enjoyment of the coming of the fall season seems to be conflicted. For some, it symbolizes the start of a new school year, which mostly everybody hates. But for others, like my mom, it means the coming of cooler weather and getting out of the hot Florida weather. But for me and sports fans alike, the coming of the fall means the start of the college football season. I've grown up going to college football games my whole life with my dad, my mom, and my sisters. Both my parents went to the University of Florida, so we've been diehard Gator fans for as long as we've been alive. So in the middle of this pandemic, I can't imagine not being able to watch or go see my favorite sport. Today, I'm going to persuade you to wear a mask and be safe to ensure that there's a college football season so schools don't lose tons of money. The problem with not having a college football season is so many schools will lose so much revenue. According to Justin Birnbaum of CNBC in an article he wrote, a loss of football could mean a loss of $4 billion. $4 billion, and that's just one season. Justin also added that since the pandemic started, schools have dropped or suspended 61 Division I teams and 176 programs across NCAA levels. And that's just before we even know if college football is going to happen or not. Those are schools cutting out sports, knowing that if there isn't a season, they will not be able to afford these sports at all. And I mean, you can just think about how big of an impact that has on all the student athletes who are at these schools on athletic scholarships, who can't afford to go to those schools without those athletic scholarships and are forced to really change up their whole life. I have a friend who was going to go play baseball at Holy Cross, a private Catholic school up in the Northeast, and they cut baseball because of the pandemic. And so at the last minute, he realized he couldn't afford to pay the tuition at Holy Cross without his athletic scholarship. And so now he was forced to scramble at the last moment to find a university that would take him in as just a regular student. And the other reason that college football is so important is for the towns specifically. I was reading in the Tampa Bay Times that when FSU, Florida State, won the national championship in 2012-2013 season, Tallahassee was pulling in tons of revenue from having visitors come in, stay in hotels, go out to restaurants. The number was, I think they made $50 million off of tourism for coming in, watching Florida State games, opposing teams wanting to come watch their team play Florida State. And so this past year, Florida State was not very good. They went, I think, 5-7 and didn't, or 6-6, something like that. And their revenue all the way went down to $30 million. And so it's not only the schools that are getting impacted by there being no college football season, it's the local businesses around the school. Some of these schools, like bars and restaurants, rely on the heavy tourism that comes when college football starts. That's probably how they get through the year, is if you're a big school and you have a big football program, you're bringing in a lot of people each weekend to come and watch your team play. And if there's no fans coming in to watch your team, you're not going to be making any money. And so that's another really big reason. I know Steve Berkowitz of USA Today wrote, local businesses could be looking at losing out on $20 million if there's no college football season. So that's just crazy. And I mean, there's already been so many businesses that have had to close because of the pandemic. The last thing we want to do is force even more to close up shop because there's no college football season. And so I believe that we can ensure and slow the spread of the pandemic and ensure that we have a college football season by wearing a mask and maintaining a safe social distance. And if we do that, then college football can be played. We've already seen other sports come back in NBA, MLB, NHL is just now starting. And I mean, college football is going to be looking to those schools, to those sports actually, for guidance on how they should run it to ensure that there isn't a heavy spread of cases. But if we just stop right now and are able to really focus on wearing your mask, focus on being safe away from others so that this spread of the virus just really slows down, we can really ensure that college football can put on a season. And some of you may think I'm doing this selfishly because I love the sport of college football, but no, I'm really thinking about the people I know, like my friend I told you who needed that scholarship to be able to go to that university to play baseball. There are so many students I don't know that need football to be played to maintain their scholarships because the school won't be able to afford to give them free rides. So this is not selfish for me. This is just to assure that those kids are getting to go to school and play their sports. And I know wearing a mask can be uncomfortable. I really dislike wearing it. I was at a retreat this past week and I had to wear it 24/7, and you're like outside and it's like a complete pain in the butt. But it's really what we got to do. Scientifically proven that masks can really help slow the spread of the virus. That's my visual aid. I've got just a nice handy dandy box of disposable masks. I'm bringing a box of these. I think 50 are in here with me to college. You can use them a week and then throw them out, and they'll last you a pretty good time. And going there, I think I read $8 on Amazon, so not expensive at all, just for you to go and buy some. And I know in Tampa, I'm not sure when the exact date, but they were handing out free ones if you couldn't get your hands on a mask. They were handing out free cloth masks for you to use. So I would definitely encourage that if you're struggling financially, you can't afford to buy a mask, to go out, reach out to your local government or anyone, see if they can make you a mask or if someone can give you an extra one, because it's really important that we all wear masks so we can slow the spread of pandemic. Because not only are we saving college football, which is what I'm talking about, but I mean, obviously you're going to be saving lives, saving up hospitals from getting overflown and having to use all the ICUs. And we just really need to get this pandemic past us, and wearing masks is the best way that we can do it. So I'm going to finish up with a quote that I heard while I was at that retreat. Buff up and back up. Thank you for your time.